AITA for suing my parents for my college money. My great-aunt set up savings accounts for all of her female relatives. In our culture, education for women is not really valued, and she thought that was. She lived with her father in London, where she was educated. She went on to attend university and became a doctor. She married a British man, they moved to America and had a great life. She funded the education of as many of her nieces and grandnieces as she could. When she passed away, she left money for every girl relative she could. My parents managed to access the accounts that were set up for my sister, and they used it to pay for my brother's wedding. My sister didn't care because she got married 2 years out of high school and had no intention of going to college. When I graduated, I went to the bank to get money for school, and it was almost all gone. There was like $13,000 left. I asked my parents about it, and they said they had needed the money. I finally found out where the money went. I got furious. I got student loans and moved out. I am a great source of shame to them, and I don't give two. I am currently suing them for the money that was left for me. My entire family is against me. They all think I am a complete for airing private family business in public. And that I am putting money ahead of family. My friends are all on my side, but they are all Americans and don't really get my culture. Neither do I, to be honest. My brother called me up and offered to pay for my university if I dropped the lawsuit. I agreed as long as we had a legally binding contract. He said I was being for not trusting him. I said he should not have accepted my money for his wedding. It is causing all kinds of embarrassment in our community. I am somewhat ashamed to be doing this, but I don't want to have this debt I should not have.
NTA She set up that fund precisely to stop this kind of sexist preferential. Greater than they all think I am a complete for airing private family business in public. And that I am putting money ahead of they think you are an for holding them accountable for their awful actions. They thought you would be a pushover, but you are showing them you're not. Your great aunt would be proud of you. And you aren't the one putting money ahead of family. They did when they stole your money. They already showed you how little they think of you or respect you or love you as a family member when they you over. NTA obviously, edit. Thanks for the gold, grin grin.
NTA Your parents and your brother had the opportunity to keep this a private matter when you told them you would sue them if they didn't return the money or pay for your schooling. Since you have already been betrayed by family members you trusted, your brother should not be offended that you want a written contract.
Greater than for airing private family business and aren't posting drama on TikTok, you're suing them, in court. The court will decide if they broke the law, or a court to settle an issue when someone has broken the law is not airing private family business. It's protecting yourself from illegal and or abusive have every right, legally and morally, to be ashamed.
You know, the fact the money was set up specifically so the females could get an education and then it was stolen to be used for a male's wedding is just all kinds of extra messed up. NTA, get your money up.
NTA Also, your alternative to your brother was excellent. I have no idea why your brother got angry. Explicit explanation. Because he is from the same family and was absolutely going to you over just like your parents did. I approve of absolutely every step you have done, especially dealing with your brother.
NTA, your parents didn't borrow your money. They stole it. I hope you have all the documents to show that money was yours. Your brother is also the R for trying to get you to drop a lawsuit with what is most likely a lie. If you have a chance to start life without student debt, you do whatever you can to do that. Your parents, and I'm sorry but their culture, sound completely toxic. I'm glad you got out.
NTA Your parents stole from you. I find it difficult to believe that that's culturally they had asked you to agree to the money being used. It would be still not great given the power imbalance. And I would have thought that intentionally disrespecting the dead would be a no-no in most aren't airing family business in public. You are dealing with a theft. Your parents are the ones who chose to lie and steal. They have only the same to blame that their actions have caught up with relying as formal, binding, legal contract in place to withdraw your legal claim is essential. You are not being an awe. If your brother is honest and trustworthy, then there is no reason for him to object. If he isn't, there is every reason to get it formally drawn up.
My brother called me up and offered to pay for my university if I dropped the lawsuit. I agreed as long as we had a legally binding contract. He said I was being an for not trusting, shows he had no intention of actually paying you. Get out, get your education, never look back. Your family is angry because they're embarrassed as and the community is laughing at them.
NTA You go girl. Assholes. In this case, your misogynistic parents and those who enable them will always complain about making their behavior public, because they know it makes them look bad. They'll try to pull every lever they can to keep things hidden. Don't let parents steal from you. They are choosing not to correct their actions. Of course you should sue for your brother. You are right to demand a contract. Though I'd make sure a lawyer agrees that it is binding. Your brother may need to put up some collateral and payment plan. Otherwise, tell him that the full sum will make you pull the lawsuit. And why would you trust anyone in your family?
NTA et al. You got over by those who should have your back that don't blame you for taking legal action. Just be aware that it might cost just as much as you'd get back if it were me. I'd cut my losses and go no contact. I get that it's hard, but what they did is absolutely awful.
Exactly. If it was used for living costs while Op was a child it would be one thing, but to prioritize a wedding party over education with someone else's money is just insane. Clearly NTA.
Wouldn't be dirty laundry to air if they hadn't on your education fund in the first place. You are under no obligation to be a compliant victim of theft and abuse. Those who pressure you are abusers as well.
Greater than they already showed you how little they think of you or respect you or love you as a family member, also completely disregarded the dying wishes of the aunt so they could throw a bigger party.
This, and also if you haven't done it already, would try to look for written statements and records, before your parents might get rid of it, how much money you were supposed to get. Not that they say they only used 2,000 or some stuff.
The written contract. I would tell him to pay up now, up front and in full, and once you have the money, then you will drop the lawsuit.
Yup. Family business stops being family business when people start committing felonies.
OP's parents essentially took huge dumps on great aunt's grave when they stole her money and gave it to her brother. Disgusting.
Can you imagine what the conversation went like between her parents? Ugh, we need cash for the wedding but we don't have enough and we don't want to take out a loan. Oh I know, let's just use daughter's college fund. Oh great idea, she shouldn't go to college anyway, she should get married and have lots of children. This will be a great way for us to share the positive benefits of our culture with her, which she seems not to understand.
He probably got angry because he doesn't want to be held legally responsible if he doesn't pay it all back.
The student law center at my university is helping me with everything. I have proof that the money was mine. I am trying to do everything I can so this does not become a criminal matter.
Greater than I find it difficult to believe that that's culturally. Be surprised how many cultures put sons before daughters because daughters aren't seen as a worthy investment. They tend to believe that a woman's place is at home, caring for the kids they're expected to have, not going to college and building a career. For also tend to believe that what belongs to their kids also belongs to them, so they don't actually view it as stealing. I would not be surprised if OP's parents had this stance, especially since OP said that their culture doesn't really value education in women in the first place. Her parents could easily have thought that their son's wedding was more important than their daughter's education, and I don't think it helps that OP's sister has no interest in college. It likely just reaffirms their misogynistic beliefs.
Enough that both my sister and I could have finished our undergraduate degrees without debt. I'm getting help from my university. I guess I'm not the first student with this problem.
First NTA. Second, the money wasn't left to her parents to care for her. It was left to her for her education. So living costs have no bearing here and would still be theft.
It's always funny how enablers will act like a victim is awful for airing dirty laundry, but they'll never say a thing about whoever created the dirty laundry in the first place. If you don't want your behavior exposed, maybe don't behave shittily.
I didn't think to use the term abuse, but you are 100% correct. This is abuse.
Oh, you just know what the family thinks of the aunt as well.
OP should be able to get that from the bank. The bank should keep those records. OP also needs to find out how they got into the account in the first place so they can put up measures to prevent further.
Exactly. Lawsuits are dropped all of the time due to settlements. I would assume getting the payment before dropping the lawsuit is routine. If nothing else, a contract for promised payment is routine, so if they don't pay, you again have grounds to sue. Clearly, it seems this family is trying to pull one over on OP. Her great-aunt would be so proud that OP is smarter than that.
Given how this family has behaved so far, I think we can safely assume that he had no intention of paying it all back. He was going to make a payment or two for some of the money and then hope she drops it rather than continue to rock the boat.
The student law center at your university rocks, and whether they know it or not, they are low-key heroes. Your aunt sounds like a badass. Your family betrayed you, get your.
I just wanted to know that regardless of what your family is saying, your great aunt would be very proud of you right now. You're doing right by her and her memory here. I know it's hard, but good for you for standing up for yourself. Accept no less than the full amount if you do agree to terms with your brother.
I'm sorry, but this is a criminal matter. If this was for American University, you talking 200K to 300K. Theft of that much is jail time.
Let it become a criminal matter. They committed a crime. They stole from you. They should all be ashamed and should not only pay the money back but also pay their debt to society, aka go to prison for 1000% certain. Your aunt would be proud of you. She left the money for you. You're the rightfully owner of that amount of. I hope word gets out and girls in your community who felt wronged feel inspired by your story and fight for their rights.
Don't let up. They are embarrassed and hounding you because they are being exposed for their shameful actions and having to face the consequences they should rightfully face. Hope you get every penny back and then some. NTA.